And I'm Neil. The saying is a series doesn't start until a team wins a game on the road. That means the Oklahoma City-Portland series had yet to begin when they tossed the ball up Friday.
Yeah, Portland took the first two at home, but Russell Westbrook took personal responsibility for his team's loss in Game 2, and he promised to do something about it when the series moved to Oklahoma City on Friday. Game 3, Blazers and Thunder. C.J. McCollum, Damian Lillard combined for 62 points in Game 2, but Russell Westbrook said, hey, man, that was Game 2. Looking to put the block on Lillard. Westbrook getting up to knock it down. Next time down the floor, Westbrook working on Lillard. A lot of contact. They call the foul, and he banks it in. Tough shot, and then let Lillard know about it. Boy, this has been entertaining between these two. And then that would get Lillard going. 3-ball. Bang, bang, bang. Blazers trailing by 11 later. Lillard uses the screen to get away from Westbrook. Another 3. Give you another look at it. Nice job from Lillard to get away from Westbrook. Lillard, it's game 3 for 9 from 3. 25 points in the third quarter. It's the most for a playoff quarter since 2001 when Allen Iverson had more. I mean, Lillard was just spectacular in this quarter. But by the fourth quarter, you had to wonder if Portland was out of gas. Westbrook was not. Bucket, another foul. He lets out a scream. 33 for Westbrook in this game to lead all scorers. And then 30 seconds later, Westbrook drives, dishes, Jeremy Grant open, and knocking that down. Grant with 18 points for OKC. Thunder hit 15 threes in the game after making just 10 combined in the first 2 games. And that's what their offense was really missing. Westbrook gets Lillard off of him and then knocks down the shot. And Westbrook rocking the baby again against Lillard. Westbrook 11 for 22 from the floor. Also shot 4 for 6 from three-point range. And when he hit that one, that's when you knew it was his night. 33 points, 11 assists, 5 rebounds, 22 for Paul George in the game. Thunder back in the series now, 120-108 in Game 3.
In the second half, what happened that sort of reversed the tone of this game?
Next question.
Yeah, Russ. The fourth quarter, you got a 15-point lead. They catch up. What happened in the last 6, 7, 8 minutes that reversed the momentum and let you guys burst back away?
Next question.
Kerry Eggers, Portland Tribune. Paul, why did you dunk there at the end of the game?
Next question.
Honestly, I really couldn't care less. You know, the game had been decided, and if that's something that they needed to do to make themselves feel more dominant or feel better, then, you know, so be it.
So by explanation, the thing with Westbrook and the reporter, it's a reporter from the Oklahoma newspaper. They've had a thing going for a while now.
Yeah, I heard the guy on the radio, and the radio host asked him, why doesn't Russell Westbrook like you? And the guy says, Russell Westbrook doesn't even know me to not like me. He just wants to have a whooping boy on the media.
Right. All right, well, Westbrook finished with 33 points and 11 assists. It was his 9th career 30-point, 10-assist game in the playoffs. That ties Chris Paul for the 5th most in postseason history. Paul Pierce with us to break down the truth about this game and this series. So looking at the stat sheet, I mean, that's the number that jumps out at you. Oklahoma City, 15 of 29 from 3, and the Blazers, 12 of 31 from 3. Other than that, pretty evenly played game.
Yeah, traditionally, Oklahoma's not a great shooting team, so they really rely on their defense causing turnovers, what they were able to do in the first half. Now, Portland has to shoot better. They're a good shooting team. Dame has to play well. McCollum has to play well, and that's the key to their success if they want to win this series.
I mean, Damian Lillard was spectacular in that third quarter.
Yes.
But watching the game with Neil, he said, boy, look, Portland looks like they're out of gas when they got to the fourth because of all the effort from the third quarter.
Yeah, they really Lillard really exerted himself in the third. He went out and scored 20-plus points. Fourth quarter, he comes in. He only gets a couple free throws, but they need help from everybody. Like I said, McCollum has to step up a little bit more. They have to get something from their bench. But I think overall, Portland is going to win this series because when I look at it, I don't think OKC is going to shoot this well from 3 for the rest of the series. And if they can control that, then Portland has their best chance at winning.
What about the will of Russell Westbrook? I mean, he took this personally.
Oh, without a doubt.
And he went out and did something about it, but you don't feel that's sustainable?
Yeah, I believe it's sustainable from Westbrook, but he needs Paul George to play better consistently, Schroeder to play better, Steven Adams. These guys have to come with him. Now, Russ is going to be Russ. He's going to be near triple-doubles every night, but Paul George has to be the guy.
So how many? 6?
Man, the way it looked tonight, I think it goes 6, and I think Portland.
Okay, all right. So it took 3 games, but the Thunder finally found their outside shot. They made more threes in Game 3 than they did in the previous 2 games of the series combined. They shot just 16% from 3 in the first 2 games, worst 3-point percentage in a 2-game span in postseason history.
Boston looking to go up 3-0 on Indiana. And let's remember, the Pacers, a team that playing without their best player, Victor Oladipo. Boston, historically great one, up 2-0. And Boston was hot. I mean, Boston was Paul Pierce hot to start this game out. Kyrie Irving there, Boston was 8 of 10 from 3 in the first quarter. They were 16 of 24 from the field. In the first quarter, Jason Tatum, he had 12 in the first quarter. He was 4 of 4 from the field. I mean, nobody missed. Jaylen Brown there. What can Brown do? Well, 41-28 in the first. That's tied for a postseason franchise record in the first quarter. And Boston's played in a lot of postseason first quarters. Let's move ahead to the fourth quarter. Celtics up 1. Irving drives, scores. He had 19 points, 10 assists, 5 rebounds. 2-point game, about 4 minutes left. Domantas Sabonis, who looks like he's on a keto diet. He needs a whammy. We need to hear Brad Stevens talking about Irving after the game.
I mean, some of the shots he hit, you know, he had the driving layup, which was a good move, but then the little floating shot he hit was just a joke. He's ridiculous.
I mean, remember, entering this game, Irving, 759 win percentage in the postseason. Highest in NBA history. Doesn't believe in mood rings, but believes in assists to Al Horford right there. Celtics win 104-96. Game 4, Sunday.
This Indiana team plays with tremendous character and integrity. Like, they play the game the way the game's supposed to be played. So we know that to win a series against them, you're going to have to beat them in a game, and beating them in a game is a monster.
We understood that they were playing with a desperate mentality, didn't want to go down 3-0. You know, Game 4 is going to be even higher intensity. But this is a great stepping stone for us to continue to go after the big picture, and that's, you know, just keep getting closer and closer to 16 wins. That's all it takes.
I've been asked, you know, a lot this season, is it a big game tomorrow? Sunday is a big game. You know, it's do or die for us. You know, it's just as simple as that. That's what we consider a big game.
All right, the earth is not flat, and these are round numbers. Celtics now have a commanding 3-0 lead in the series. Before this year, 132 teams had led 3-0 in a best-of-7. All of them went on to win a series, and 61% swept. Jaylen Brown led the way for the C's Friday, scoring game-high 23, holding the Pacers to just 2 for 13 shooting as a primary defender. That's the best performance by any defender to face at least 10 shots in a game this postseason. Our research is better than your research. And the Pacers have certainly been in games this series, but they've struggled down the stretch. Indiana shooting just 31% in the second half this series compared to 48% in the first half.
Russell Westbrook promised he would take responsibility for the Thunder and see them through in Game 3 after Damian Lillard and C.J. McCollum went off in Game 2, and Westbrook delivered. Boy, this matchup with him and Lillard, Westbrook and Lillard, it's been fantastic so far. I mean, just both guys intense, prideful athletes going at each other. Westbrook with a jumper in the third quarter. At that point in the game, Westbrook had 13 points and Lillard had just 6. But then Lillard went cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs the rest of the third quarter. Westbrook guarding him, didn't matter who was guarding him. Lillard just unstoppable in the third. 25 points in the third quarter to get the Blazers back into the game. But then Westbrook able to deliver less than 3 minutes to go, pulling up there, and then under 2 minutes to go. I mean, this shot here, this one was personal. He's like, you're on me, but it doesn't matter. Westbrook with 33, Lillard with 32. Thunder win it 120-108. Let's welcome in Royce Young now from OKC. Royce, before we get into anything, does Russell Westbrook answer your questions?
Am I supposed to answer all these with next question? I don't really know what I'm supposed to do anymore.
But I'm saying, does he answer your questions?
Periodically. Sometimes they're shorter than others. Sometimes you get put in timeout, sometimes you don't. It's hard to know sometimes with Russell Westbrook.
All right, so what's your takeaway from this game? What was going on in that locker room after they climbed back into the series?
Yeah, a lot of talk about the heated exchanges and what was going on the court with Damian Lillard, Russell Westbrook, and in that highlight there, after Westbrook rocked the baby on Damian Lillard, that's really when Lillard went off. He scored 23 of his 25 in the third quarter after that kind of gesture by Russell Westbrook. And Lillard was asked if he saw it, and he said, no, I didn't happen to see it. But I can tell you, I was sitting front row. Lillard definitely saw it when Westbrook turned around. It wasn't so much rocking the baby. I think we could accuse him for shaking the baby at that point because Westbrook did it so emphatically. And Lillard looked at him and kind of smirked. He definitely saw it. But, there was a couple other back and forth exchanges. Lillard got caught up talking to Paul George. He got caught talking to Westbrook at another time. Westbrook hit a deep three that kind of iced the game late in the fourth quarter, looked right at Lillard and pointed at him. You had Dennis Schroeder, who was tapping his wrist, which is Lillard's kind of signature move, talking about Dame time. Schroeder said that he saw Lillard doing it in games 1 and 2, so he wanted to pay back the favor. Lillard said after the game that he thought it was kind of funny that Schroeder chose to do that so late in the game. So all this to be said, Game 4 is going to be really fun.
Oh, yeah. They get it on again in OKC on Sunday. And that reporter from Oklahoma gets another chance to try to get an answer. Thanks, Royce.
Well, when you score only 12 points in the third quarter, you're kind of dooming yourself, and that's what the Pacers scored in the third. Outscored 21-12 in the third. Final score 104-96. Boston takes a 3-0 lead. So let's break it down. Let's go inside, like we only can. 11 threes in the first half, 10 for 15 from 3 when shooting directly off a pass. The 11 threes in the first half tied for Boston's most in a half in franchise postseason history. So, and you know how much postseason history that franchise has had. Jaylen Brown, Pac-12. Oh, he's awesome. Primary defender, Game 3, Pacers, 2 for 13 from the field. For the series, Pacers are shooting 21% from the field when Brown is all up in their grill. That's what the kids say, grill. Brown also went 5 for 5 from the field on open shots. That's tied for the most such makes without a miss by a Celtics player in a playoff game over the last 3 postseasons. Brown with 23. The Celtics win 104-96. Let's talk about the brackets. Here we go, first round. So the Warriors up 2-1 on the Clippers. They're going to face the winner of that one's going to face the winner of the Rockets. Jazz, that's been all Rockets. Spurs surprising the Nuggets right now. Thunder make it 2-1 against the Blazers. We showed you that earlier. Bucks have been all over the Pistons. Celtics can wrap it up. Raptors, Magic, that one, they were locked up in a tight one. And 76ers Nets, still interesting with Game 4 in Brooklyn. Whew.
Nothing has changed about James Harden's game just because it's playoffs. He's still averaging better than 30 points per game and still leads the NBA in isolations during the postseason. Harden also has the highest usage rate of the playoffs, just like he did during the regular season. And the Rockets, well, they've had no problem scoring against the Jazz, mostly because of Harden. Houston averaging 120 points per 100 possessions against Utah, who finished with the second best defense during the regular season. According to Second Spectrum, that's in large part to Harden, has a 63% blow-by rate on drives this postseason, highest by any player with a minimum of 5 drives. He's helping to create offense for his teammates. During the regular season, Harden made 232 step-back three-pointers. That's 3 times as many step-back threes as any other player. Luka Doncic was the next closest with 76. It's become his patented move. I'm hearing youth coaches saying all the kids want to try that shot. Harden has continued success with a step-back 3 in the playoffs. Already made 8 step-back 3s in the first 2 games of this series, doing so with just 12 attempts. He's made 4 step-back 3s in each game so far, most in a single playoff game over the last 5 seasons. Game 3 in Utah Saturday.
The beauty of James is I can talk to you guys all I want. Doesn't matter. I just give him the ball. We're fine.
Different teams play James different, and it's on us to see it, figure it out, and get to our spots and do what we're supposed to do to be able to get open shots and be able to make sure that he can do what he does.
Let's see what Harden does next as our coverage of the NBA playoffs rolls on. Saturday, 2 more Game 3s on ESPN and the ESPN app. Bucks Pistons, 8 Eastern. Then it's Rockets, Jazz with Milwaukee and Houston up 2-0. NBA Countdown gets it all started at 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific.